Hi there, and welcome to our integrations page. Today I will be walking through how to connect to your Google Sheets as your source of truth. This connection is relatively easy. The only things you will need to do throughout this process, at least with information from your Google account, is authenticate with your Google account and then also have the Google Sheet link handy. So without further ado, let's jump into it. As you can see, we have many different integration sources that you can connect to. For this specific video, we will be going through the Google Sheets connection. So I will connect here and then I will be going through the authentication process. So I will select the Google account that I want to authenticate with, and then we will have to allow access to QuotaPath with the Google Sheet specifically, or with your Google account specifically that you would like to use. In here, you will be entering the copy of your URL for the spreadsheet. This can be as simple as the URL across the top of the page for the spreadsheet. It doesn't necessarily need to be a shareable link or anything like that, although that will work fine as well. Once you go through that process, you will submit this source form, and with that you will see a success of that you have fully authenticated. After that, we will be taken to the place to pull in the actual data that you want from your Google Sheet. This is allowing us to schedule the sync frequency for you, and then also the objects, basically the data that you would like to pull in. So this does take a little bit to load, but shortly we will be able to see all of the different options that we want to complete on this part of the integration. All right, so now that we have the sync schedule, we can select what we want. The default is every 24 hours. However, you can move up to every 2 hours. And then also if 2 hours is not fast enough and you do need to manually sync on occasion, even if you set it at 2 hours, you could see here, and once we get back here, you will see a resync now button that you can always come to and manually click, and that will kick off a sync to add in any new records that you potentially could have added to your Google Sheet within that 2 hour time frame. Also here we'll see all the different objects that we want to pull in. This will basically correspond with the amount of tabs you have in your Google Sheet. So if you had 15 tabs in your Google Sheet, that will populate as 15 different objects. I only had 2 tabs in the Google Sheets that I'm going to be using, so I'm going to sync both of them. By pressing sync now, you will kick off a sync where you will see this modal. It does take a little bit of time, maybe 2 or more minutes to go through that syncing process. So you are able to close the modal and play around in QuotaPath while you wait for that sync to happen. You will receive an email once the sync is fully complete, and then you will also be able to check the status at this with the status bar up here. So we'll go through that sync process, and I will pause the video right now, but come back shortly once that sync is complete. All right, so we can now see that we successfully connected our Google Sheet. We do have the success bar up here, and as I mentioned, anytime that you do want to kick off a new sync, you can always come here and click resync now. However, based on the modal that we looked at earlier, this will automatically resync every 2 hours. You do have the ability to go back and select streams or the sync schedule and change that again by clicking on edit settings. And then of course you do have the ability to disconnect whenever you want as well. So that is a Google Sheet integration. Thank you for listening.